What about the Speaker? I mean, he's a Speaker of the House of Assembly there. He should know what the letters of the law says.
That is why
So
I disagree that either of them should be the beneficiary of their own iniquities.
So what should the court have ruled based on their prayer?
Of course, from the prayers and the fact that must have been made available to the court. What was your intention? You, Mr. Speaker, that was so quick at sending the existing governor out. You want to send out the deputy governor as well, so that you can be sworn in at the end of the day. I disagree with the position that the Speaker has taken, or the role he has played in this matter. That is why I said, left for me, neither of them whoever smelled that government office, whether as Fintiri or as a Gulak, because you cannot benefit from the wrong you have deliberately created, and then you want. That is why initially I agree with what the party did and said, look, this man is, although they were looking at it from the political angle, that this man is not electorally worthy to be asked to be the deputy governor or acting governor of that state. But the appeal court of the party cleared him and said, look, the man should be allowed to go and contest. The man should be sworn in. And that was it. Yeah, otherwise, the man has moral baggage as well.
But the prayers before the court was not that neither of them should benefit. The prayer before the court was that the deputy was not properly removed. He did not resign
properly. What are the surrounding circumstances that what the court will look at? We might say, well, all the facts are not before the court. But we know that even those of us who did not participate in the case, we knew what happened. When a governor, you see, this is why I believe that there must be an amendment to the existing constitution, not the federal self-aggrandizing amendment that is being carried out by our political leaders to enable them to perpetuate themselves in offices. These are issues burden on impeachment. Okay. How do you get a governor who has disappeared into the thin air? How do you get him to be served?
Those are part of the questions. Okay,
yes.
but to cut to the chase, I mean, if you were in that shoe as a judge, or what do you think the judge should have ruled based on the prayers before the court?
I'm not a robot. Because you have come here and you state what is obviously not the facts, and I know that, of course, the other side will not accept what you have said. You are saying not compliance. Oh, the Constitution is very clear. The literary rule must apply, literary interpretation, because they said you must submit to A that even you that were talking about it, you did not see that A. But the Constitution says you must have that A. Let's not call it ad impossibitia. The law does not compare the impossible. And secondly, you cannot be a party to a set-up situation and turn around and say, well, I'm no longer part of it, and let me now take the benefit of my own wrong.
So, could the court have ruled even though the prayer was not before them?
The court cannot go outside the prayers. It is for the lawyer, for the house, to bring all the facts available to them, to say, well, this man that is here, ask him whether he wrote that letter. 2, ask him where was his boss.
No, his boss was, he was still deputy governor.
He was still deputy governor. Where was his boss?
The governor was still there when he had not been impeached.
Where was his boss that time? The boss was nowhere to be found. Nyako was nowhere to be found. In fact, the House of Assembly has to publicize the impeachment proceeding. It was when it was publicized in the paper that people like Cosimo saw the gravity of the allegation against the man.
So shouldn't the letter have been addressed to the governor then?
Yeah. The governor that could not be seen that the impeachment proceeding were advertised.
No, but if
that is somebody fully in the Constitution.
Does it mean it will not be tenable if he addresses the letter to the governor and hands it over to the speaker in the absence of the governor? Wouldn't it have been something to do or to consider?
He could have done that, but they might choose not to do that.
What about the speaker that allowed
and the speaker that accepted it, and the same speaker was ultimately eventually sworn in at a later stage. I don't believe in the principle that the law is blind.
Don't you think the deputy governor was very smart?
Both of them. And I want to tell you this. You see, that's why people like us, it's good that we remain where we are in the practice. Because as such a thing comes before you. And I want to tell you this. I have not seen the affidavit sworn to by Ngilari, but I can tell you cocksure that the first paragraph of Ngilari affidavit to support his case in court is to the effect that I, Mr. or Chief Dr. Bala Ngilari, a legal practitioner, quote and unquote, and the deputy governor then, Abba, a legal practitioner, deputy governor. Those are two weighty things. And you see, you don't know who to submit your letter.
You know what I'm getting to see in your argument now, because you have actually brought up two things. And the question now is that does law have a place in morality? Because that's the angle you are trying to take this.
Yes. The people will tell you that morality and law don't ride on the same plane. Yes. Good. But you've forgotten these days, when we talk about substantial justice, quote and unquote, you're talking about morals of the law. The law is no longer an us. You must look at all the surrounding circumstances and then decide. Because by the time you just hook, line, and sinker, you accept what has been put before you, and you knew in your heart of father, it is humanly impossible for this thing to have been done. You are asking the man to go and give a letter to a governor that even the House of Assembly cannot locate. And you say what? The same deputy governor that said, look, I have submitted my letter of resignation to the speaker. The same deputy governor now turned around and said, well, that's my letter. I want the court to impeach it. A legal practitioner and deputy governor want my letter to be set aside, my letter of resignation.
Which was not properly addressed.
Yes. That's where the law must begin to look at the intention of parties. Criminal law will look at your intention. Because the criminal law will not punish you unless both the act and the mind, they work together. That's why the likes of Oscar Piscaros have been able to escape murder for manslaughter, because the intention, according to the judge, the intention to kill was not there. But even though he was negligent in firing almost 4 or 5 shots at his girlfriend, he said the intention to kill was not there. And the Nigerian court would have done the same thing.
So you think that you should have looked at the intention?
You have looked at it. Did you resign? And as a man of your level, you want to tell me you don't know what you were doing?
What about,
did he intend that it was not my art? I mean, my art?
Did he intend to resign?
That is the question. He intended to resign.
What if he says he did not intend to resign? That's why it was wrongly addressed.
He wrote that letter. He deliberately now wrote that letter.
Because he did not intend. He was
to fool a deputy governor, to fool his people.
Is it to fool his people or this speaker who wanted him to forcefully resign?
Both of them. Who was the speaker representing? He represented the state.
But you've heard
both of them were elected. You see, the type of thing.
I'm happy you're coming back to the whole argument which Chimela started. But look at the politics in this whole game. Because first, recall that the argument has been that the speaker and the deputy are from the same constituency.
Yes.
And if they have a party that has been carrying out what they call a zoning formula,
yes,
both of them can't come from the same zone,
yes,
to be a deputy and a governor.
Yes.
So one must leave. If he never had the intention of resigning and he was about to be pushed off the cliff,
yes,
then he dropped that letter. And the intention is not to truly resign, but to actually fool them.
Yes.
That's the intention.
Fool the person of the speaker, not the office of the speaker.
That's what is painful to me. That when must you send the people?
Not the people now.
Let me tell you this.
You see, Mr. Agbaje, not the office of the speaker, but the person, because you must realize that that person did play some politics to occupy that position, and possibly was aiming for higher office. So, I mean, at this particular point, we could also be differentiating between the person and the office. So maybe he did that to, you know, fool, yes, if you prefer that word, the person of the speaker.
Should that be what we should expect from a deputy governor of a state? No,
can we totally exonerate the speaker? I'm looking at my...
The two of them. I'm saying that if I had my way,
yes,
the two of them will never spend government house for the next 10 years. The two of them. Because what they have done, what they have done,
yes,
is to put that entire state in a state of embarrassment and almost creating a constitutional confusion. And that's why I commend the judge. But whether you did it rightly or wrongly, what is what the Constitution says? You must be sworn in.